High five. I am so excited, babe.
I know. I'm sure you guys will be wondering what's doing this guy. Why are they laughing now? But trust me, I'm overly excited as well. This has been coming for a long time now that we said we're going to do something together as a couple. And here we are, babe.
We're sitting here and it's happening, and we're going to be having these amazing conversations that we just feel like we have so much to share. And like Tosin said, we've been planning this for a while, and the fact that it's finally materializing. High five again.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us and for clicking to listen to us or to watch us, depending on where you are. My name is Adenike or Olori Esho, and this is my husband.
Yes, my name is Tosin.
Yes. And we have been married for
5 years.
4 years, going on 5.
Yeah, 4 years going on 5 years.
Yes, we'll be 5 years in December.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time.
We feel like when it comes to family life and relationships and dating, we have a lot to say and we have something to offer. So we decided to, come together to make this happen.
Yes. So we are coming together to do what I call a joint venture. Please, just allow me.
JV called Who Said I Love You First.
Yes. So that's what we decided to name this Who Said I Love You First podcast. And the whole idea is that we will try to share some of our experiences, from when we started dating into getting into marrying, and also getting into coming as a couple together. So we strongly believe that we have a few things that we can share with you that, you can just pick a few things here and there, and hopefully we can add value to you guys.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, it's all about adding value and, giving something relevant back to, and also learning ourselves, because we are still on the learning curve as well.
Right.
We don't know it all by any means, but hopefully you can learn something from us. So let me officially welcome you to the Who Said I Love You First podcast.
Yay!
So we're going to start this conversation by starting from the beginning, which ordinarily we should start from, and that would be when we met, right?
Right.
But babe, this is a conversation we've actually never had. We've never talked about before we met. I don't think whilst we were dating, I asked you, when was your last relationship? We didn't have that conversation, did we? I don't remember.
Maybe we had it, but it wasn't really deep like that.
It probably wasn't serious.
It wasn't serious.
Let me ask you now. I'm putting you on I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay.
Before we met and became friends and all of that, how long was the last relationship you had?
Right. So before we met, I'd been in a relationship for about 1 year and 6 months.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
It is.
I did not. I didn't know. This is breaking news. You dated someone for over a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
but I'm telling you now. Come on.
I'm in shock. Can you believe it? So this is to tell you that you're constantly learning about your partner, even after we're going on 7 years that we've known each other.
Yeah.
Wow. So what happened?
So what happened at the time, I just, gotten back from the UK.
Okay.
I'd finished my master's then, I returned back to Nigeria. And, I got into a relationship and it was all going, well at the initial, stage. But as weeks passed, as months passed, I realized that we were consistently having conflicting values. I realized that we're always arguing over unnecessary things that I felt we shouldn't argue over. So, like about a year into the relationship, I began to, sense and feel that I'm not sure this is the right thing that I want to go into. And I could actually sense this from the lady as well, that we weren't feeling the relationship. Okay. So I would say that it was all about value. It was all about conflicting values.
Right.
And, we just had to take the decision, which was quite difficult, I would say.
Wow, it was difficult. It was difficult. Okay, whatever. But yeah, that was something interesting that you mentioned, that, conflicting values. You came to that realization and you just decided that, this isn't going to work.
Right.
So, that's a very important thing to keep in mind when you're dating someone. Dating is not just all about being in the honeymoon phase and, just having fun,
Clearly.
going out to dinner and all the good stuff, but you should also pay attention to the person that you're with, to what they do, what they say, how do their values compare to yours. That's a key factor to keep in mind. For me,
Right.
my last relationship, well, I didn't date a lot, actually. My last relationship before I met Tosin was probably 3 years, 4 years before we met.
Okay.
3 years, maybe. It was quite long ago. And it didn't last up to a year. It was probably maybe 3-4 months. I've always known what I wanted, right? I've always been very clear as to what I wanted and what I did not want, most especially what I did not want. So even in times where I was not certain as to, okay, maybe I can take this or maybe I can flow with this, I always knew what I did not want. And so the moment things I did not want manifested themselves in a relationship, I took a walk. I was just like, no, I'm done. Because I was very certain, things like abuse, things like, oh, he's raising his voice at me, things like, thankfully, I've never been in an abusive, physically abusive relationship. But things like that, I knew there were things I could not take, I was not interested in, no matter who you were, So any time I would see signs of things like that, I'll just be like, oh, peace, okay, bye. And so that was it for me. So I think it was at that point in the relationship where I just kind of found out, I was just kind of, maybe he raised his voice at me. I was just like, hello? So I was like, no, I'm done. Bye-bye, goodbye. Don't call me again ever in your life. And he never did. So good stuff.
Right, quite an interesting one that you've said, and and that brings me to saying that whatever you want to do in life, it's very important to have clear-cut goals of exactly what you want. You need to be specific. You need to be realistic about the things you want, such that when you're going into any relationship, you just know what the deal breakers will be and what the deal makers will be.
So talking about clear-cut goals, what were you looking for in a woman, at the time that we met?
Okay, it was really, really simple. I was so focused on, having to meet someone that fears God. And the reason for that is because I believe that if I find someone that fears God, then that person wouldn't find it difficult to respect me, will be kind to me, will be kind to us as a family, and ultimately treat ourselves with respect. So that was the major thing that I was really, really focused on. That if you fear God, then you would respect me, you'd be kind to me, and of course, you would just display that atmosphere where both of us can live together in peace and harmony.
For me, I was looking for someone that would love me, of course, but of course I was looking for a godly man, and I wanted someone that had something going for themselves. Like you have something you're doing, because I had something I was doing. So I wanted someone that knew purpose was important and destiny, and someone that would love me, someone that would be kind to me, like you said. And I wasn't just looking, that was what I was praying for. I was praying for a man that would love me, that would be kind to me, that would be a God-fearing man, that would love God as well. Because I don't think it's enough to fear God. It's hard to fear God. Because our parents, we see them, so it's easy to fear them because we see them. They can easily come in with,
with a stick.
With a stick or whatever. They can easily give you a slap or something, give you a spanking on your bum, and all of that.
Right.
And so that fear of the present parents, it's easy to get, versus a father that you cannot see. So I feel like it takes an extra level of discipline and understanding of God to actually fear him, right? So I wanted someone that feared God, someone that also loved God, someone whose heart was like devoted to God, because there are so many things in the world and there are so many things out there that people say and people take for granted and people just get swept away by. So I wanted someone that would be rooted in Christ, in the word of God, so that no matter what happens, I know that we can always go back to the Bible. So those were the things I was praying for when I met this uncle right here.
All right. So from your perspective, would you say that I did exhibit such traits?
Yeah, you did. I mean, I can't speak as to the love aspects, because we met. I mean, it wasn't like I immediately said, this guy loves me, but we met in church. Which I'm not saying, hey, listen, I'm not saying all the men in church are good. Some men in church, some of the worst people you would find would be in church, because like someone once said, church is like a hospital. We are humans and we're sick and we're looking for salvation and all of that. So don't assume, just because we met in church, it's perfect. No, but we met in the place of service. He met me in the place of service. I was serving when we met. He had just joined the church. So I was like, okay, this is a nice looking guy. Handsome. Okay, so I already told the story on my personal channel, so I don't want to start going into details here again. So I'll link and we told it together as well on my personal channel. Have. So I'll link to the 2 videos down in the description box as well if you want to hear the details of the entire gist. But so we met. I would say, talking about God, the God aspects and all of that. I mean, we met in church, so I was already like, okay. That's good. You had a job.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he had a job that he was so focused on, and I liked that as well. I liked that we had, in as much as his industry was like chemical engineering and all of that, mine was entertainment. We still had a common ground. We could still hold and sustain conversations together.
Right.
And he always attributes that to the fact that we both schooled abroad. That's what he would always say, that you're exposed. You're exposed. So yeah, you did exhibit such certain traits that made me like you when we met.
Right. And that also takes me to a statement you made just a few minutes ago, that when you're going into a relationship, you need to ensure that whoever you're going to be meeting is self-discipline, is discipline, because if that fellow isn't disciplined, of course we're all work in progress, but the reality is that if that fellow is not disciplined, then it might not just be a good one. So self-discipline is very, very important.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so we've talked about what we were looking for when we met each other. We've talked about our previous our last relationship before, which was a breaking news to me. But how would you say, how important was appearance and looks to you when we met? Did you have a spec?
Yes, I did.
You had a spec?
Yes, I did.
I've never asked you that.
You've never. This is the first time you're asking me that. Yeah. So for me, because I'm not, I really don't have that large frame. I didn't want someone that was really on the big side. So I wanted someone that at least when I'm holding the person, I can hold the person very well. Not that I want to hold the person, and I can't even hold, So for me, it was just a personal preference. I wanted someone that wasn't, that so much on a big side. I wanted someone that was, fairly slim, but maybe not too slim. Just like when I met you then, and essentially in terms of physical, that was what I was looking for. And of course, beautiful, because you're beautiful, aren't you? So so for me, those were, I would say, the 2 major things that I was really, really looking. And I think the last thing that I I almost forgot. And I always tell you this is that I wanted someone that was exposed. And so,
I told you.
So exposure can actually come in different formats. It can actually come in different dynamics. I mean, you can be in a particular place and you're still exposed perhaps to the things you hear, the kind of people you meet, the kind of relationships that you're involved in. But when I met Nikki, as soon as she told me that she studied in the US, that was like oh wow, that's one of the things and the reason was because I didn't want to stress too much. Like I didn't want to get into such conversations whereby I want to say, oh babe, I want to go to maybe France or Paris to go for a course or something like that, and you'd be telling me, what are they doing there, I didn't want to I wanted someone that could understand with me, that could understand being exposed. So those were the three major things that I will say.
Oh, interesting. So what about height?
So for me, I think I wouldn't really say that I wanted someone that was too short, I was too tall. I wasn't really so big on that. Really big on that.
Interesting.
No.
And that would tell you that, listen, it is okay to have a spec.
Yeah.
There is nothing unchristian, unspiritual about having a spec. You like what you like. Oh, babe, what about boobs?
Oh, wow. It didn't touch me. Stop it.
What about boobs? Did you like big boobs, small boobs? Just
no. I wanted it to be just normal. Just normal.
No, every size is normal.
No.
Every size is normal.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now.
Oh,
what
really?
Do you mean, really? Every size
okay.
is
Maybe not too big. Maybe that's what I mean.
Medium.
Okay, medium. Okay.
Like my own.
Yes, like your own.
Good. That's what you should have said.
You should have told me now. How do you expect me to know the sizes in my head?
No, as you should have just said, like your own.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, like your own. Right.
So again, back to the point. It is okay for you to have a spec. I had preferences as well, and I've said it on my personal channel a couple of times that I wanted to date a Yoruba man. Okay, I just wanted to date a Yoruba man. It was just easier for me and convenient. That's not to say that I've never been attracted to someone that wasn't Yoruba, or I've actually dated someone that was not Yoruba before. It was okay. It was fun. But it was just my preference, and that was what I stuck to. I wanted someone that was a born again Christian, That's not to say that those that are, see, one of the things I love, those that are in intertribal relationships and those that are in interracial relationships, I love watching them and I love following such people because I'm just so fascinated and I'm just so intrigued by the relationship, right? And it just looks so beautiful to me, but I'm very lazy when it comes to relationships. So I knew I knew how demanding relationships were, and I knew what I could give, and I didn't want to stress too hard, So I was just like, Yoruba man, born again Christian, let's just keep it safe. And that is okay. That was what I wanted. So I'm telling you that don't let anybody shame you into feeling like, your specs don't exist. That's a lie. We are all fearfully and wonderfully made, although some people go to Mexico to make adjustments to themselves, but what you're looking for, you're going to find. So just always keep that in mind. Don't just because you're going to be waking up to this person for the rest of your life.
Clearly.
You're going to be seeing this person for you, sharing a home with them for the rest of your life, hopefully. So you want to look at them and be happy. You don't want to constantly look at them and say, maybe I shouldn't have, or what do you think, babe?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that takes me to, something you just made mention of, that making it safe and simple. And, in making it safe and simple, you just have to have an understanding that this is the person I want to be with. What are the things that I can cope with? What are the things I cannot cope with? And just roll with it.
Yeah.
And one thing I would also want to point out is that when you're also looking, when you're looking, whatever you're looking for in your partner, I would say that don't have, very, very huge expectations of this person. You know, I mean, it's very good to have expectations, but don't overthink it. Like try to, because we're all human. So what I'm actually driving it is that we're all work in progress. We're all work in progress, and you must understand that we have shortcomings. But even in our shortcomings, try to ensure that the person you're going into this relationship with can learn, can unlearn, can consistently improve. Those are things that, I believe you should look out for. You mean?
Yeah, because, it takes two to tango. Nobody's perfect, right? So I'm not perfect, so I shouldn't go around seeking for perfection.
Clearly.
However, you're not anybody's mother, you're not anybody's father, you're not anybody's doctor in a relationship, so you shouldn't seek to heal someone. If someone is showing you repeatedly that they are badly behaved and they have assumed that bad behavior as who they are, then there's a problem. Tosin made mention of something very key right now. He said that person has to be able to learn and unlearn, things. It's not just enough for someone to say, or for someone to be able to learn. We also have to unlearn a lot of things. Our parents raised us in different ways,
Clearly.
right? Now we cannot go into the world, into life, raising our children the way we were raised, just because that was how I was raised. It doesn't work like that. We have to unlearn a lot of things that we assumed were normal growing up were not normal. What we assumed were acceptable were not acceptable.
They weren't.
So we have to be able to unlearn. So you want to be with someone that, in as much as they're not perfect, you can see that they're making efforts.
Exactly.
To be better. They're not trying to be perfect. They're just trying to be a better version of themselves every day. And that goes into what, going into a relationship, what to expect, what to look for. Tosin was saying that you should not have grand expectations of the person. I think what it means is that you shouldn't, you should create room for errors and for growth.
Exactly. Thanks.
Right? Errors and growth, repentance and, what's the other word? You sin, you repent, and then you go about your day. So there should be, we're all humans, we make mistakes. However, okay, I have to do a very big caveat. However, there are some things that are just absolutely unacceptable.
Clearly.
Okay, and you know what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to
start preaching it here.
It's a kind of worms that I don't want to open.
Right.
So I'm not going to do that. But there are some things you know it. I know it. He knows it.
Yeah.
There are some things that are just absolutely unacceptable that you should not excuse. There are bad behaviors that should not be excused, that you should not look away from, that you should not overlook, Yeah, and you should know those things. So, because that's not what this conversation is about. So I don't want to start. Because if I start, we won't leave here today. We won't finish, So in essence, everything we've been talking about has been all about preparing for a relationship and getting into that relationship. In as much as something important I also want to mention is that in as much as I, spend time praying for my husband, trusting God for my husband, I was also praying for myself, right? I had a list of things I was looking for in my husband. I had it written down. I was praying for my husband's future. I had not even met him, but I was praying for his work, his finances. But I was always praying for myself as well. I was praying that God, make him a kind man. Let him be kind. Father, teach me to be kind. My point being, it's not enough to look for a spouse. You should also look inwards and pray for yourself and work on yourself as well.
Yeah, very, very, very important. And, just to make it very, very simple from what Nike has said, you must have that capability to always display emotional intelligence. And what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is the capability of oneself to manage and control his or her emotions, as well as managing the other person's emotions, So an emotional intelligence, it's kind of divided into 4 parts. You have self-awareness, you have self-management, you have there's also relationship management, and I can't remember the last one now, but there are about 4 quadrants anyway. So the whole thing now is just about how do you internalize the things you go through such that you're able to manage yourself and also manage others, because dealing with people requires a whole so much of management, so much of leadership.
Yeah, a lot of people are going around suffering from different traumas, different emotional abuse experiences, so we all need healing one way or another. And what Tosin is saying is very important. Being in a relationship with someone, it requires emotional intelligence. Take a look at it. If you have siblings, you fight with your siblings, and you guys grew up together in the same household, even if you didn't grow up together, right? But your blood, yet you fight.
Yeah.
Not to now talk of a situation where you are in a relationship and you're trying to share life and a space with someone that spends 25, 26, 27, 30 years of his life being raised in a completely different household. You are going to clash. You are going to have misunderstandings, but it requires a certain level of emotional intelligence. It requires a certain level of maturity to be able to navigate those situations, when they arise. So in as much as, again, bringing it back to where I started, in as much as you're trusting God for and you're looking for a spouse, also work on yourselves. Be that person that you desire to be with. You want a kind man, be kind.
Clearly.
You want a man that is generous, be generous. You want a man that is devoted to God, be devoted to God, because likes attract likes, and what you're projecting out there is what you're going to attract. Hey,
deep. And that's, there's something you just made mention now, that if you want someone that is generous, you should also show yourself as being generous. And that took me to when we had our first date. Maybe this is not the time for the conversation, but I just remembered now that I remembered we went to the cinema, and we I paid for the ticket for the movie, and as I was about to pay for, I think, the popcorn and the drink, he said, no, you get it. And again, the thing just entered my head. Are you for real? So that's being generous. You don't just wait for, he needs to do everything. Whatever you have, always try to always share whatever you have. That's what I like to say.
Be generous. What you want, what you're looking for, be that person, right? Be who you want to attract, because the Bible says that he that would have friends would first show himself friendly. You attract what you project. If you repel something, you're not going to attract it.
Clearly.
If you detest something, you're not going to attract it. So just keep that in mind. Going into a relationship, keep everything we have said in mind. This conversation doesn't end here. It's still going to continue in other episodes. So make sure you are subscribed to the podcast. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel if you're watching on YouTube, and drop a very lovely comment down in the in the comment section. Sorry, babe.
Right. You can just tell us what you would like, for us to discuss. I know there are a few topics here and there that, you've been thinking about, and you just say, maybe Nike and Tosin can just touch on these as well. I would be very, very happy to touch on this, because the podcast is not just about ourselves, but it's about you. It's about bringing value to yourself. It's about ensuring that this is of great benefit to you as well.
To you, yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, that is what, the point of all of this is to add value, give back, and, populate God's kingdom as well by raising beautiful homes and,
yes.
and lovely homes.
Yes.
High five. This was so much fun. I really hope you enjoyed chatting with us today and listening to the podcast. Please don't be shy. Drop your comments down in the comment section. Let us know your thoughts. Like Tosin said, topic recommendations as well. Subscribe to the channel, okay?
Yay.
And maybe on the next episode, we will tell you who said I love you first in our relationship.
Right.
Who said I love you first?
No worries. Tune in next time, okay?
All right. Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.